Hello everyone! In this video I'm going to walk you through my empty space track, the track for the Blue Pops contest, Super Booth Mega contest, where we were given samples from the different synthesizers recorded right on the Super Booth, and we are supposed to make our music without changing them all that much. I think it's an amazing contest, honestly, because it takes away the necessity to care about the sound design and gets right into the music creation process. Maybe you would be inspired by how I've done things and you will see like, hey, if this guy could do it, I can do it way better. I think if that works this way, I'll be really, really happy. First of all, cheers to the person who made the Machine sample pack. It helps to start so much, and it's so much easier to do something when there is already something in place as opposed to just a blank list of nothingness and you have to do everything on your own. Thank you very much for that. So in this video I'm going to cover most of the sounds, how I made them, just quickly go over them, otherwise it's going to be way too long, and then talk a little bit about arrangement, how I performed the song, how I recorded it, maybe a little bit on vocals, and how I end up merging it all together. So let's go to the tracks. Percussion group, track A contains percussion elements from different packs actually. Zaps, that's how it sounds all together. Zaps, Plankton, Winter 1, very nice kick, really like it. Very boomy, a lot of character to it. It's not the first one I used, but I end up using this because simply it just worked a bit better. Hi-hats, close and open. There is a little bit of a trickery here. Of course, high pass filter, but the LFO on the panning, which is in the pitch, which is quite a, I think it's a very normal thing to do, and it provides just a little bit of movement. Also interesting decorative elements here, made of kicks, Godfather kicks, which doesn't sound like a kick at all because there is no low end to it and there is a delay. And there is again the LFO on the panning here. An amazing click from Heinbach. Thank you, Heinbach. Very nice click, which just cuts through the whole groove very nicely. Snares. It's kind of one snare made of two layers. First layer is actually the kick, again Godfather kick, and made with a high pass filter. Basically, I think there is nothing else going on in the sampler, and there is compression from waves, actually, not the default compression, for two reasons. First, I don't really know how to use Machine compressor. It just don't want to be friends with me, and I try, but most of the times it just doesn't work for me. I don't know why. I don't know. I just find it easier to use compressors. I already know from waves. Sorry about that. But the other reason is more important, actually. Way more important, because it's here to make the sample mono. I don't know how to make it mono on the machine without using third-party plugins. And the plugin is not about making it mono. It's just a mono plugin, mono version of the plugin. So it makes a sample mono. I know how to do it in the software. I know how to do it in DAW. I think I even Googled, but I didn't find a way, so my bad, maybe, but I don't know. If someone knows how to do that, please let me know. I struggle with this. I have to use third-party plugins for the stupid reason. I would deal with a regular compressor. The other one, high-end part of the snare, not really high-end, but more with the high frequencies. It's actually made of the Heinbach atmospheric kind of a sound, his sound, tuned down very much. I'm not sure if it complies to the conditions of the contest, but come on, it's just for a snare. And amplitude envelope on this, a lot of drive, some compression in the sampler itself. nice. And high pass filter, and a little bit of a modulation envelope with a pitch to make the regular drum thing, you know. That's where the default compressor works, but look at this weird settings. Minus 33 dBs, minus 16 dBs on gain. 3 milliseconds at time. I don't understand it. Maybe I just don't get it, but I'm pretty sure people who made it, they know how it, but I don't get it. It's just very different from what I do in other compressors. That's my my bad. But I use it all the time for different reasons. Later about this in different sections. And the saturation, I think it just makes it much louder, that's the whole point. But either way, that's the drum section. There is an equalizer plugin on the vintage equalizer from Waves. I really like it because just regular plugin doesn't add high end that nicely. I don't know why. And it's a very simple plugin, so I think it's totally fine to use it. I tried the default equalizer, but it's just not the same. I even blindly A/B tested it with the normal, and this one turns out to be a little bit better. Even I can hear it, not professional. There is minus 1.5 dB on low shelf band, I guess that's called. But it's just to reduce the boominess of the kick a little bit, which end up not working for the recording situation because kick was on a different channel, but doesn't matter. And the perform effects with the stutter, I did this in the beginning of the track while performed. The bass, this one, it's just a sample from Waldorf LP M24. From Waldorf M synthesizer. I really like their synthesizer. I really wish I would get one day. There's some equalization going on, amplitude envelope. As you can see, I didn't use this in sampler just to do. I played with it for sure. I used a little bit of the drive of the sampler, changed the start time a little bit of the amplitude envelope. It didn't change much in there. This kind of a sound, and the equalization, raising the low end, cutting out some of the 130 hertz and a little bit of the high end. But the cool trick, why I'm talking about this, is this reverb. This is a very common practice in mixing as well. The reverb is on a separate channel. We send some of the audio signal to this separate channel in here, and why I did it this way, because I wanted to better control over the mixing level, over the levels of reverb, so it's in the mixer and can easily adjust it back and forth. And I can put a filter on top of it. I know there is a low shelf filter in here, but first it will affect the whole signal with my main bass channel, which I don't want, if I put it on the same channel. And it's not the same as the filter. Filter just takes it out entirely and adds resonance. That's the reason I use it. And it actually sounds pretty interesting with it. Check this out. So, this is with the filter. Nice white sound with a strong foundation. Taken out filter, you can hear the reverb much more, but there is a lot of mud going on right away, and it's just the bass. You don't want this. Much more transparent. Still, there is the size of the bass in the place. I like this. It's an amazing trick. I use it quite often, always dealing with reverbs and delays. Really nice. My favorite part, the pads. There they are. It all started with the Nymphs Outer Space preset. Therefore, the theme of the song. That's where I got inspired to make the space topic, which I really like. It's a chord progression. I actually used the chord set from Machine, I think, to do this. And then I also, the outer space preset by on its own was quite small in the frequency range, so it was just in the middle, and some of the frequencies were very resonant. That's why I had to take them out with the equalizer. But to compensate for this, I layered it with another preset from the same sequencer, synthesizer, NIMS wait for it preset, and then I sent it both to reverb. Yeah, that's the sound. Nothing much going on in the outer space sampler, just a little bit of the amplitude envelope, a little bit of a high pass filter. That's it. And then in the group, there is the next thing, another instance of Waldorf for this synth. The only interesting part about the whole thing is that I automated the attack in the short musical phrases. I think on the third note, I made the attack a little bit longer, and it made this note slightly washed out, disappeared. Quite a nice touch. Like just a little trick that I was messing around and just, end up doing this. And also the last note has increased release time so that it shadows over the chord of the main pass. Yeah, like that. Together with the drums, so you can hear some side compression going on for the pads as well, and reverb, just a normal room reverb, a lot of and some equalization as well, and more reverb on the group. Interesting. The beat delay on a separate channel for the reason I don't know about, but it's there. I probably was trying to also mess with the signal. Yeah, and sidechain compression again. The atmospheric sound by Heinbach. Thank you, Heinbach. Did I say thank you for the click? Nice click. Atmospheric sound, which I think plays across the entire track of mine, and I think it adds a lot, makes it better. So thank you for that. I didn't do much in the sound itself, just a little bit of the high pass filter and sidechain compressor. Vocals. The universe. Sorry about that. The universe is empty place. It's really hard to find the sound of your voice that you like. So I had to take like 40 times to record it, and then I used the amazing comp feature from Logic, where you can pick parts of the pattern and replace the comp with them. So the actual final sample contains different patterns. So this is one sample I recorded out of Logic, and I also used some processing in Logic, taking out the low end, maybe do some equalization, noise gate kind of a thing, regular stuff for voice. On the sounds itself, there is nothing because it's just one-shot samples of the voice. I did put the delay on this, a bit more EQ. Let me see what it does. Oh yeah, it's just extra filter for the low end and a little bit of a taming in the high frequencies. Also, there's no outer space. There is annoying S in all of this. It's my pronunciation, I guess, but I put a dynamic EQ from neutron equalizer, which basically acts like de-esser, and I guess you can use de-esser, but I guess Machine doesn't have one. So there's also this amazing frequency echo plugin that is, I believe, is free, and it's really nice. So get it. It's super cool. Play. Let me show you what it does. Basically, it could do different things actually. But it's kind of a delay with some nice touches with the frequency shifting and the delay and the unsyncing and the equalizers or filters are built in. So it's quite nice. It makes it very interesting sound, especially for vocals, but I guess for synthesizers it could work as well. I think I tried them. And of course, reverb. One thing about the vocals, I use the macros to just put all of the controls of different effects together here, so I have access to them on one page without having to go to the different plugins while I'm performing the thingy. Another one, the Bukla, my favorite samples in the whole thing. I made this pattern in the very beginning of working on the track, and I used it as bass in the first versions. I ended up changing it afterwards, but I still really like this pattern. I think it's quite nice. There's not much going on in the sounds themselves. I just made a little bit of a tuning. I think there are still some dissonant parts in there, but I'm not a musician, so I just tuned them so that they are not annoying to me. That's it. But yeah, to me it sounds quite nice. Check this out. And here's what I've done: high pass filter, sidechain compression, reverb, and the saturation, which just makes it sound louder. And a bit more fat to this. I don't know how to gain stage this saturation thing or not gain it, so make sure the plugin doesn't add volume so you can properly A/B test it. So I just believe it does something other than raising the volume, but I'm fine with this either way. And another instance of Godfather kick. Not Godfather, but Zapp's Plankton Winter 3, which I used like a open hat kind of a percussion in one of the patterns. Pretty nice. So I just used the dry sample with no processing on it. And also this kick. That's the first time I actually used more than 8 groups. And yeah, surprise for me. I usually end up just using those, not even all of them, but right, these two groups are very simple. There's just, I think, one sample per group, and they use them only in one section of the song. I call bridge, but I'm not sure it's the right name for it. It's just a sound. I think I reverted this sample, or was it reverted by default? Yeah, I reversed it, not reverted, and pitched down a little, well, not a little bit, 2 octaves. And high pass filter here as well, because there's weirdness in the low frequencies. It's just to connect 2 sections of the song, along with this sample. Also, I think cheesy white noise kind of riser, they call it, I guess. Right, and these are all the tracks. Now moving over to arrangement and how I made this. As you already saw like bunch of different patterns that I use across different sections of the song, and I switch them manually when I'm performing and playing with mutes. And for instance, sometimes I would start with the filter with the performer plugin and machine all closed up, and then I gradually open it up like that during the performance. And this way I introduce the bass. Just unmuting the groups at the right moment already sounds like a performance thing, and this is a very basic trick to just unfilter the sound, or it's like raising the volume but in a slightly different way. Very common thing to do, right? And yeah, so I open up this section, introducing instruments one by one, parts of the drums, parts of the bass, and yeah, the synths as well. I believe I also did the filter thing, and then I just jumped to this section 2 with the vocal, where there is a pass and vocal, switching at the right moment to the next section with with the strings while playing with vocals and all that, and this way making the whole arrangement a bit more interesting. I could have, that's a razor I was talking about before, I could have just put everything in the sung mode, which is quite nice, but it takes a lot of time to put everything together, and you're starting to play with the details, moving things around, and basically start fiddling just way too much with those things. While when you perform and you kind of in the vibe of the song, it's easier to just switch sections without thinking too much about the arrangement and everything. You just play it. So it's a faster way to get to the final result. And I choose it sometimes, but I have to say, when you have all the song programmed in the sung mode or in the DAW, of course, and you still want to perform it, you can do this, and that way you free up a lot of space and opportunities to do other things that provide more interest to your composition in the end. It just takes a lot, I guess, a lot more effort to make sure that the composition is structured very well, as opposed to playing it live, just coming up with it on the go. It's never too late to just still arrange it in a more planned way and maybe do sound design tricks on top. But for the first draft, playing it like that, recording it, mixing down, throwing the limiter on, and just having it like that is already a good idea. I start in a standalone software controller mode, and then when I'm done with all this and I'm happy with the results, I go to the, actually Ableton this time. Yeah, I go to the Ableton, create 10, 12, I actually use a template with 16 tracks coming from Machine VST plugin, and then from Machine VST plugin I record to these tracks. I so basically go to the mixer and put in the software. It's a bit easier than on the machine itself. I just assign different groups to the different channels in the Ableton or in Logic, whatever works for you, and then also kick on a different channel. Sometimes you want to remove the compressors, sidechain compressors from the groups to make it to have a bit more control. If you want one bus for the whole sidechained elements of your mix and just one compressor, it's also an option which might be a bit more or less interesting, depends on what kind of results you're aiming for. But I prefer to keep the kick separated from the rest of the thing, because the kick is quite important in this type of songs. I wouldn't say genre, because I don't even know what the genre is. EDM, I guess, but yeah. And then I record the whole track, all of the elements in the separated tracks, but the whole composition in one go. It takes a few takes, but in the end you got to the entire arrangement already mixed, because it respects the mixing that you've done here, so it sends the signals attenuated to the whatever you picked in here, even though you send right from the group, so missing the mastering bus on the machine itself. And yeah, it's already a good result. Then you just do mastering in Ableton. When it comes to my mastering thing, I didn't do much there. I just used very simple to what I have in here, which is, as you can see, this is more for metering than for doing anything with the sound. I did the Valhalla room just for a little bit of ambience. Let me demonstrate you the ambience thingy. Yeah, just to create a little bit more ambience, and then SSL compressor from Waves again. Yeah, it's a paid plugin, but I just really like how it sounds, and I'm not that my ear is not super developed. Not like I don't differentiate different compressors or anything, but this one I can clearly hear what it does, and I really like it as opposed to other compressors. I mean, other compressors also work nicely, but this one, I just like what it does. Like, I don't know if that's obvious. Here's without. I kind of hear how everything sticks out of the mix, and here, listen to the moment when I put it on. Yeah, I really like it, and there's that. And there's another instance of vintage EQ with a little bit of a high frequency shelf up, 3 dBs, actually quite a lot. But I guess this happens on almost 100% of my tracks. I need to raise the high frequencies a little bit. I don't know why. It's because my mixes are probably horribly wrong. Yeah, I think that's that. And then I just export it directly from Ableton and attach it to the video I record on the thing, which is my phone actually. And yeah, that's that. Ready, done. That's how I do it. Well, I don't know if you watched all the way to this moment, but thank you. I hope it was any useful. So thanks for watching. Check out my Instagram. I put I just started it very recently, but I put music there, and I would appreciate if you go there and subscribe. Watch some videos, whatever. Do whatever. I don't care. Have a nice day. Good luck in the competition if you participate. Thanks for watching.